Welcome to the Geek 101 podcast, the Mandalorian recap episode 5, The Gunslinger. I'm Ariel Rada.
And I'm Andy Bowman.
And we are here to talk Chapter 5 of The Mandalorian, The Gunslinger. I'm going to do a quick recap of what happened in the episode, and then we will discuss. Mando defeats a rival bounty hunter in a dogfight, in a spaceship fight. He lands in Mos Eisley, a spaceport, a certain hive of scum and villainy that we recognize over on Tatooine. He leaves Baby Yoda on his ship with the repairwoman, looks for a job to pay for the repairs, runs into a rookie, and attempts to take out an assassin for the bounty, is betrayed by the rookie, and ends up largely unscathed throughout the encounter. And at the end, we see, of course, that the assassin, I think Shand is her name. Let's see, Fennec Shand, played by Ming-Na Wen, is found by somebody as the credits are about to roll. Andy, what did you think about episode 5?
Okay, if Ming-Na Wen is dead, I'm really upset.
Okay, yeah.
Otherwise, it was a perfectly fine episode that hit all perfectly fine beats.
Yeah, so this episode is way more Star Warsy than all the previous episodes. And by that I mean, of course, spaceship fighting and speeders and the fact that it's on Tatooine and stuff like that. So we didn't get a ton of that in the previous episodes. It was way more like Firefly-esque rather than Star Wars-esque. So, but yeah, it is concerning if Ming-Na Wen was kind of wasted in this very, very small role. Just like Cara Dune, or Gina Carano's character Cara Dune, was kind of a one-off, as well as Taika Waititi's IG-11, a bit of a one-off. So, yeah.
Yeah, and, Justin Long was really good as the rookie bounty hunter. I mean, I know it wasn't really Justin Long, but...
Oh, he looks like Justin Long fused with...
A Franco?
Yes, the younger Franco, Dave Franco. I was so like, oh, is that Dave Franco? No, it's not. Yeah, it was strange. I am okay. So we've got 6 episodes left.
No, we have
I'm sorry, 3 episodes left. Next episode is episode 6. So 3 episodes left, 6, 7, 8. I am a little disappointed in the direction that this show has gone, insofar as like they're literally just doing like Western episodes, like plot be damned, character development be damned. Like they're just doing they're just doing little shorts essentially. What do you think about that?
I like it, but there's something that just doesn't sit right with me about this. This doesn't feel like a show. This feels like... I feel like the next 3 episodes are going to be kind of like a movie by themselves, and the first 3 episodes were kind of like a movie by themselves, and then these middle 2 are just... eh.
Oh, I have an interesting piece of information here for you, Andy.
All right.
The guy who played that greenhorn bounty hunter, Jake Cannavale.
Bobby Cannavale's younger brother. Okay.
No, it's his son.
I keep forgetting that Bobby Cannavale is like 50 years old.
Bobby Cannavale is currently 49 and his son is 24. So, yeah.
I 100% see it.
Yeah, for sure. A little bit of a Dave Franco impression, but overall, pretty fine performance. But yeah, you're right. It is... The Mandalorian doesn't seem to be doing much, and I don't think the storytelling is... I don't think it's good enough, right? I don't think rehashing famous Western stories and or tropes in the way that they're doing it is like good enough to keep, to consider this like a really great show. And
Right. It's not good enough to consider it like a Daredevil season 1.
Yes, and I keep, me, I keep chasing that dream that something is going to rise up that's as good as Daredevil season 1 or season 3.
Right, and I told you off air, Ariel, that there is going through these CW shows has made me realize how tolerant I've become of bad TV, and that this Mandalorian, this should actually be like the silver standard. Like this should be the minimum quality that I watch before considering turning it off or not.
Yeah, I don't understand why. You know me, right? And I think if something is not up to snuff, I'll just stop it. My time is too valuable. As I'm a public school teacher, I'm exhausted. As we said in our last episode, Sam was like, "Oh, I get it," right? I don't know if that was on air or off air.
It was off air, but yeah,
it was off air. Yeah. So basically, they were like kind of confused as to why I'm so willing to walk out of things. There's a premium on my time, and if we weren't doing episode recaps, and 2, if the Mandalorian was any longer than the 30-minute to 40-minute time period, like if this was an hour of TV, I probably would have stopped already. It's just to me, it's just not like Baby Yoda is not enough to make it that interesting.
Right. I'm having the general feeling that this is going to have been a very good movie condensed into 8 episodes of television.
Yeah, but here's what my thought process is. So I've been going through my favorite movies of the decade for various lists and pieces and websites I'm writing for, and obviously on that list would be like John Wick. John Wick is one of my favorite things of the decade. The Raid, one of my favorite things of the decade. Winter Soldier, one of the favorite things of the decade. A South Korean like action, justified revenge movie similar to Taken. Like that's one of my favorite things of the decade. And
Man from Nowhere?
Yeah, Man from Nowhere it's called.
Okay, sorry, you just didn't say the name of it. I was confused.
Okay, I'm sorry. Even something like either way, or even something like Logan, right, which is like a real like perfectly done modern Western. If the Mandalorian is trying to be either a Western or a one-man army type show, like I don't think it succeeds in being an A to A+ level in either of those. And it's frustrating because this is like the era for it. And it's just, to me, it's not quite there. Maybe that's not what they're trying to be. I think very clearly that's not what they're trying to be. But for them to market it the way that they did, right? Here's this silent killer, this faceless, unstoppable bounty hunter, the Mandalorian. Here's what Boba Fett should have been. I just don't think we've got it. I think the Mandalorian makes really, really dumb mistakes all throughout the series, and is bailed out by like amazing plot skills that are never truly established in the plot as we go on. Like if John Wick makes some of these mistakes, he's either bailed out by a friend, right? If you remember the first one with Willem Dafoe's character, or he's set up that he has this certain set of skills, so to speak, to get out of any situation. And the Mandalorian has not done that, has not set up that character development to say, I don't know if you remember this episode where the rookie bounty hunter has like Baby Yoda in one hand and like the woman in the other.
Yeah.
Like there's a very clear shot for the Mandalorian to take.
Yep.
Like it's like, and then he takes the same exact shot later, right? It's strange for someone to establish earlier that he's just like this awesome gunslinging sharpshooter, and then for you to just have that scene, and every action movie kind of beat in me is screaming, just shoot him in the face. He's a greenhorn. He has no idea what he's doing. He literally like is leaving a wide open space there for you to shoot him in the face, and it just never happens. And so this is not the show I thought it was going to be. And even in that, I don't think the show's as good as I like. How do I put this? It's not just great. I think it'll just be okay.
Yeah. And how about the mistake of leaving the baby on the ship in the first place?
So that's inexcusable, right?
Yeah. Yeah. They have a tracker.
Yeah. And he knows. And that's why I think if you're going to do something simple, and this is very simple, it needs to be airtight. You're not focusing on complex plot, and so everything you do needs to be perfect. And this is for that. So I went on Twitter, or I'm on Twitter, and people tweet about the Mandalorian, and the way that the show is, like, the way that the show is kind of going, or the way that the show has been so far. Like, I don't care about spoilers because nothing interesting happens. And everybody is saying, everyone, casual fans, why would you leave the baby alone? It makes no sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, basically just left the kid in the care of, older Ellen Ridley.
Yeah. Space mechanic, older space mechanic. It was a curious decision.
Yeah.
It was a plot convenience, but the problem is there's so many plot conveniences.
Yeah. I'm still enjoying my time with this, and I'm hoping that I'll enjoy the last few episodes, but it's just not hitting in the way I want it to have hit.
Especially, I still think that 2 episodes in, even 3 episodes in, I think that potential was still there. But 5 episodes in, I think, now we're more than halfway through the season. Now we know what it's not.
Right, and maybe this is really a family show. Maybe this was designed to be a way to introduce kids to all these, Western trope plots, because kids are dumb and they haven't seen this stuff.
Sure.
And you can take advantage of that and make something that's comfortable for the adults in the room watching it. But it just, this is what I'd give a B. Like, hey, it's well done, but it's just there. It's not going above and beyond. And we finally found out what happens to the stormtroopers that did not find those droids.
Yeah. All those years later, 25 years or whatever it is. But yeah, you're right. This is thus far anyway, and I guess it could swing it around. But to me, do you think, let's say the next 3 shows are an A+. What would you grade the season as a whole?
If the next 3 shows are as good as they can possibly be, for me, then that would be an A-.
That is a little frustrating, I think. I don't think there's a single episode thus far that is an A+. Would you agree with that?
I don't know. The first episode really hit me the right way.
It didn't hit me. I think what they're doing is right. They are like relying on Western gunslinger tropes, but I think they're doing it. They're also doing it in the action beats, and so it's boring. That's why, that's what prevents it from being like an A+ to me. Sure. I don't think anything has, and that's what made Daredevil like so out of this world. Is you watch the fight scenes and you go, oh my god, like those are awesome. And nothing thus far in The Mandalorian has made me think that. I think, oh, this is cool, and this is nice, and I kind of like where that's going, and I see potential here. And as somebody who loves action movies as much as I do, none of it is. This to me, this is closer to Firefly.
Okay,
that's not good nor bad. That's just an observation.
Yeah, this is just full of potential, but that's really all it is right now. It does feel like the entire thing is suffering from pilotitis.
Can you elaborate on that?
If you watch a TV show, the first episode either introduces a bunch of characters that aren't going to matter because they don't want to pay the big name actors to stick around. It just feels off. It feels like it's not representative of what it's going to be in a season or two. And this entire episode just gives me that kind of, or this entire season so far really just gives me that feeling like this is good, but it's going to have to be better for season 2.
Yeah, so and it'd be funny because it's like I said, this is kind of like Firefly but without the charismatic characters.
Mm-hmm.
And so like what is that? And maybe that's not the best comparison, but I guess Space Western is a decent one. And for season 2, right, we never got Firefly season 2, and so everybody's love for that franchise is just a little bit in the hypothetical, like imagine how great this could have been. We're gonna get season 2 of this, and if it's just more of the same, like I won't watch, right, because the freshness is gone, the intrigue is gone, and the quality hasn't improved, theoretically, in this hypothetical situation. And so, like, I don't know. That's not... And this is still decent. This is still good. This is still worth a watch for many, many Star Wars fans. But for somebody with, like, a limited time, with limited time to enjoy things, this is just maybe not for... This is not the prestige television I think that both fans thought it was going to be and what Disney thought it was going to be.
Right. There's, for people who have limited time like you do, Ariel, I mean, there's Watchmen out there. There's, there's a few other things. Like this is fine. This is a great way to pass the time, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. But this episode in particular also really relied heavily on what we know about New Hope as, because it's on Tatooine. The Greenhorn is sitting in Han's spot.
Yeah. Which was... That didn't need to be done.
No, not at all. I really would have liked to have seen Ming-Na Wen not use a scope. Like, that would have been a great and appropriate way to, like, have them fail. Right. If the bounty hunter is planning that she's using a scope, he's going around and firing these things, and it turns out to blind her scope, and it turns out she's not using a scope. That would be an interesting twist. That's what I thought was going to happen. That it's like going to show Ming-Na Wen not using a scope, but instead,
yeah,
it's silly.
What this reminded me of, Indy, is when you saw Mark Dacascos in Wu Assassins, and he does absolutely zero fighting. You're just like, why? Why did you cast Mark Dacascos? Why did you cast Ming-Na Wen in this thing and have her be punked by a Greenhorn and the Mandalorian? Like it is like that. Well, that's the way it is, right? That is the way it is with, they want a big name. They don't want to use the skills. They don't want to take the time. Right. And we get what we get.
And also, if you're going to paint the Greenhorn to be greedy, why is he not trying to go for both?
That was so annoying to me. Kill Ming-Na Wen's character, get that bounty, take the, like, it just didn't make sense.
Right. Or just the blasters are on stun. Like, have some line like that. So Ming-Na Wen is like there, and then he betrays Mando right before he gets there. Like, I don't know. It just didn't make any sense because this is supposed to be a huge bounty by itself.
Right.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and talk about the last scene, the last camera shot.
Do we? Okay. Do we see who approaches the body?
No.
I didn't think so.
No. We only see the bottom half, and we know it has a bit of a cape. It's all like, oh, it might be Boba Fett. Oh, it might be Boba Fett. Yeah, it could also be Carl Weathers.
Yeah. Nothing in this makes me think Boba Fett's going to be in it. Because why?
Well, they're out on the Dune Sea, right?
You know what? Yeah, the fact that they are in Tatooine, maybe that is a chance there.
Be really funny if he just got out and the first thing he does is go look at an unconscious body for no reason.
Right. I did. So I mean, there is nothing. I'm curious as to what's going to happen. I really, really enjoyed the Tusken Raider scene.
Yeah, because nobody's ever communicated with them.
Nobody's ever tried. Yeah, it's so funny. So it was so interesting, so good. So let's see. I'm trying to find out who can be there at the end. We have yet to be introduced to Giancarlo Esposito's character.
Okay.
I think that's it.
Oh boy. I mean, I love Giancarlo Esposito. He's amazing.
So I don't know. I don't know. There's nothing. There was nothing I can see. I'm on Reddit right now. I'm not seeing them have any really good guesses as to who it is.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, BuzzFeed, fuck off with your "It's Boba Fett" clickbait.
Yeah, that's so dumb. Where's my search? I just doesn't. No, there's nothing. I just don't know. Couple of cool things before we wrap up in the cantina, right? He walks in when it's like near empty, which is interesting, right, compared to what we see in A New Hope. And two, if you remember, Andy, the first thing they say is droids aren't welcome in that bar. And the droid's the bartender now.
They took their job.
Yeah.
I did like that Mando was like, no droids. Like, he really does not trust droids.
I wonder why, though.
That might be an interesting character tweak to look at.
Yeah, but we only have 3 episodes left. So, it is interesting.
I mean, it'd be interesting if all it is you see a bounty hunter, like, bugging a random droid for information.
Yeah.
Yeah. But another thing that could have been interesting is kind of introducing that even though Mando, is a decent bounty hunter, he's new, right? Like, that could have been an interesting thing. But instead, we are supposed, this pro is supposed to be making all these mistakes, and
Right. Everyone knows who he is, right? He manages to get this precious cargo of Baby Yoda when nobody else could. But even though the IG-11 droid did most of the work.
Yeah.
And so they keep telling us that the Mandalorian is this great, great bounty hunter. And at no point, right? At no point do I believe it. And this is what John Wick did, right? That John Wick spent 30 minutes building up the backstory of his character. And then in one quick moment I don't know if you remember with John Leguizamo's character, where he's like, sir, they
John Wick's
they stole this car and they shot his dog. And the guy's like, oh, and he hangs up. And then the rest of the movie is him earning that reputation, this really impressive one that you've built up. And the Mandalorian hasn't done it much with these really rookie mistakes that he's done. And it's just bad writing at this point.
Yeah. I'm going to be really interested. Maybe Jon Favreau should not be writing as much.
Yeah. No, I mean, he's very clearly a really, really good director, but it's not. And to me, it's the simple mistakes that frustrate me the most, because somebody along the line should have said, hey, why would he leave the baby there alone unattended? And the hubris of a showrunner would be like, don't worry about it. He'll just do it. It's fine. The audience will will get over it. And I hate that because it's just like your story doesn't work then.
Right. You know what would have been actually kind of funny is if he froze the baby in carbonite.
That'd be interesting and a little brutal.
I mean, we see stormtroopers' helmets with pikes.
Sure, yeah. Anything else about this episode or the larger Mandalorian universe?
No, it was fine. I don't regret watching it, but meh.
Yeah, I think since the episodes aren't particularly long, it's definitely worth staying till the end of the season. But I think if you have a limited amount of time, right? If you're me out there, I think we all need to take a really long look at whether or not season 2 would be worth giving our time to with what we've got thus far. Now, I fully want to admit that episodes 6, 7, 8 could be A's and A pluses, and we finished the season like, you know what? There was a rough patch in the middle, but we ended pretty strong, and this is a really good season. I just think that the writing has been thus far that they don't care about the little things, and the little things is what makes shows like or like make movies like a Kubrick movie, like an Edgar Wright movie, right? Like what's his name? Grand Budapest.
Wes Anderson.
Wes Anderson, right? The little things make those movies unassailable. They make them completely airtight. You cannot attack them pretty much in any way. Like you can even say that about like Spielberg, right? And if you can get the little things right in these shows, then to me it doesn't matter if you have an okay filler episode when everything is airtight and the plot is simple, but the plot's really effective. But they're not. They're just not doing that.
Yeah. It actually would have been kind of funny. Like it could have been a great little gag though. Maybe if he doesn't freeze Baby Yoda, he like takes the sleeping baby and he just kind of looks over at the carbonite, and you can kind of tell he's thinking about it.
Right, like another pro, like when the baby keeps like pressing things.
Yeah,
that would be really funny. Yeah.
Something. John Favreau, hire us. We'll punch up your script.
Yeah. This episode was directed by Dave Filoni, who has done plenty of animated directing, things like The Clone Wars, Star Wars Rebels. Who was I think he was the showrunner, and Avatar: The Last Airbender, director for a couple of things. In a cartoon, in a kids show, you can get away with your lead character doing that with Baby Yoda, but in a show where we've learned that stakes are high, like to me that doesn't fly anymore. Yeah,
and these last few episodes, last two, have really felt like an episode out of Clone Wars. In
the worst way.
Yeah,
not a worse way, but in not in a great way.
Right, in a way that is fine. Like I'm very happy to have this show. This is, people are so excited about it. I'm not feeling that, and I hate that I'm not feeling that excited.
Yeah, I agree with you there. All right, what are we looking forward to in the next episode before we get out of here?
Next episode of The Mandalorian?
Yes.
Okay. I'm looking forward to finding out that it's just Carl Weathers.
That would be really annoying. So why block his face? So it has to be somebody that the audience is surprised about, but also needs to be recognizable.
Yeah. I mean, it's like it just has to be. It just has to be Boba Fett if it's going to go that. I can't think of another character. Yeah.
It has to be Boba Fett, or it has to be like another character that the larger Star Wars fandom could recognize.
Oh, Ungar Plutt. It's Ungar Plutt.
Who's Ungar?
Quarter portion.
Oh, that guy. I don't think the biology matches there.
Oh, wait, is it Watto? Please tell me it's Watto.
It's Jar Jar Binks. Just fooled us all. But yeah, okay, let's get out of here. This was a pretty somber review of The Mandalorian, a far cry from from where we were at episode 3, right? We were riding high after episode 3, and we've slowly come down.
Remember, my wife was like, "Oh, it's cute. They're nerding out."
Yeah, we are. No, we're currently not. We're not nerding out anymore.
Yeah.
There's still a chance. We'll see. The last episode. Wow, last episode comes out the 27th after Christmas. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, Andy. Before we get out of here, where can people find you online?
You can find me online on Twitter at Hebrews Pale Ale.
All right, you can find me at Dread Pirate Roddy. You can find us at Geek 101 Podcast on Twitter and Facebook and Patreon. Email us geek101pod@gmail.com. That's all we have for today. Class dismissed.
Okay.